Match day 3 of the Barclays Premier League is pretty much in the books, although there still is Arsenal v Liverpool to come on Monday, which will be a great fixture. But outside of that, in week 3, we saw Manchester United draw with Newcastle United 0-0. And I just got to say, Wayne Rooney has been abominable this season for Manchester United, and even dating back to part ways through last season. Hopefully he turns it around. We also seen Chelsea pick up their first win of the season. And man, was that a necessary win, because in the game following Chelsea, we saw Manchester City completely take apart Everton in their 2-0 victory to move to perfect through 3 games with 9 points, moving back atop of the EPL table. That and more next on the EPL Roundup. Welcome back to the EPL Roundup, brought to you by the Best Damn Sports Blog. And I'm just going to jump right into it, starting with Chelsea. The Blues finally picked up their first win of the season in a 3-2 win over West Bromwich Albion. And it was a hard-fought battle. John Terry went out in the 54th minute with a red card, so they had to play with 10 men for over 30 minutes. They conceded a goal in that span, but were able to hold on for a 3-2 victory, thanks mostly to newly signed Pedro, formerly of Barcelona. He had a fantastic debut for the Blues. 88% pass accuracy, 3 chances created, 2 shots, 1 goal, and 1 assist. If that's not a cracking debut, I don't know what is. And I was one who thought that Pedro, yes, he would be a good addition for Chelsea, but never did I think he would have this type of impact that he did in his first game. I thought he would probably be a squad rotational player, sort of how he was in Barcelona. But no, Jose Mourinho threw him in less than a week after signing him, started him the next game, and boy did Pedro perform. And I think he will have a starting spot in the 11 for every week possible going forward for Chelsea, because they just look more dynamic with Pedro out there on the pitch. I know it's a short sample size, 1 game, but just a week ago against City, Chelsea hardly created any chances. I think it took them until the 70th minute to have a shot on goal. I didn't think Pedro would be dynamic on the Chelsea team, but so far so good for Chelsea. And it looks to be a much necessary addition. They threw Willian in at the central attacking midfielder, put Pedro out wide, and that seemed to work well. We'll see how things go for Chelsea going forward. But I also want to say Eden Hazard has been a no-show for Chelsea so far this season. He had another chance at goal, took a poor shot, and he's just been completely quiet. He has not resembled the player of the year that we known him to be from last season. And as I stated in a prior podcast, Eden Hazard is not a consistent goal scorer. He just isn't. And for that fact, that is why Chelsea needed to bring in a Pedro, because they need another goal-scoring threat outside of Diego Costa. But before I switch gears, I need to address Chelsea and their back four, because this season, despite getting the win this week, they have still been putrid. They gave up another 2 goals against West Brom, who had failed to score prior to their game against Chelsea. And on the season now, through 3 games, Chelsea has given up 7 goals. Only Sunderland has allowed more goals with 8. So Chelsea are slowly but surely losing their identity. They were known as a great defensive team that played off the counterattack. They'll just sit back and wait for you to attack and then counter. But if they're going to continue to concede goals at this rapid rate, they may have to change their tactics. Now, we know they want to acquire John Stones from Everton, the great young defender, but we're not 100% sure if he's going to be sold. So the pairing of Cahill and Terry, who will not be paired together in their next match against Crystal Palace due to Terry's red card, they're going to have to turn things around. They were a great pairing last year, and I don't think Terry's passed the hill, because he was great for Chelsea a season ago. Probably his best season at Chelsea in his illustrious career. But against West Brom, Chelsea got the win 3-2 to move to 4 points through 3 games. And what's crazy is they were kind of lucky to even come away with the W. They very well could have drew or lost that match. But luckily for them, A missed PK by West Brom was the difference in Chelsea's favor, and now they have the ball rolling in the right direction. Now, moving on to Manchester City. They have been fantastic this season, off to a phenomenal start. Perfect 3 wins through 3 games, 9 points, and have yet to concede a goal in their 3 games, which is stellar since coming into the season, many predicted Manchester City's downfall would be their back four, but so far Kompany, Mangala, Kolarov, and Sagna have been nothing short of magnificent as a unit in that back four. And against Everton, that did not change. They held them to just 1 shot on goal for the whole game, following a match against Chelsea in which they didn't allow a shot on goal for the Blues until the 70th minute. Manchester's defense is at an elite level, something no one predicted at all. I did not see this coming. And not to mention, they added Nicolas Otamendi from Valencia, who led La Liga last season in defensive actions. So they're bringing in the best defender from La Liga by the numbers into their squad. And as great as Mangala has been this season, for the price that they brought Otamendi in, you have to think eventually he'll become the pairing partner next to Vincent Kompany in the middle of that back four. I'm just shocked at how great Manchester City has been playing through 3 matches. I really thought they would probably finish 3rd or 2nd, but far behind Chelsea. And I thought their defense would be their downfall and their Achilles heel, but it's been anything but their downfall. It's been their uprise. Their defense has lifted them to this point because we know when it comes to attacking with the likes of Silva, Aguero, addition of Sterling, that goal scoring wasn't going to be the problem for Manchester City. What we thought would be their downfall was poor midfield play because we thought Yaya was aging and wouldn't be able, but he's been great so far, along with Fernandinho. And we also thought that back four would just be too inconsistent. And so far they've been anything but. And here we are, Manchester City, perfect through 3 games, 8 goals scored, 0 conceded, and they look like the juggernaut right now of the EPL, by far. Yes, Liverpool has yet to lose with the game against Arsenal tomorrow, but they've won both of their games by 1-0, and that was against Stoke and Bournemouth. We've seen City beat Chelsea 3-0, and now Everton 2-0, which are 2 quality clubs. In Chelsea, we already know they're the defending champions. To beat them 3-0 was a statement win by Manchester City, letting us all know that we better take them serious when it comes to title contention. But there is one question though. Is this great, stellar defensive play by Manchester City a blip, or is it a trend? Can their defense really hold up and play at this level or close to it for the whole season? Or is their back four what we thought they were, and in due time, they will show that they're an inconsistent bunch that are unable to win the title? Me personally, with the addition of Otamendi, I think City will continue this trend. Now, they will eventually concede and they may lose games. I'm not saying they're going to go unbeaten or undefeated this whole season. I think their back four will be consistent enough to see them through to another Barclays Premier League title.